Welcome back to Unlearning White Supremacy, a series where we're talking about the tenets of white supremacy, specifically how they show up in us as white people, especially when we are faced with critique, feedback, and conflict. Today we are talking about perfectionism. Perfectionism is the belief that we or others can be perfect or perform perfectly. What does this look like, and how can you tell if it's showing up in your thought processes or interactions? Not expressing or appreciating gratitude for others' work. And if you do express gratitude, you are directing it toward those who are getting credit either way. So this can look like glorifying large social media creators, not expressing your appreciation for the people you follow on social media. You pay and support white social media creators who are getting credit either way over Black social media creators who have been stating a similar or the same message. So if you're watching me tell you this and you haven't watched Rebecca's Tenets of White Supremacy, White Woman Whisper, perfectionism could be playing a part in that. It can also look like not paying people for their work or services unless you think that they are offering something exactly the way you want it or deserve it. So for instance, when you subscribe to a social media creator and you have expectations on the content that they're putting out, because that's what you deserve since you're paying money to subscribe. Expressing inadequacy to someone or expressing inadequacy about another person to someone else. So you're expressing your dissatisfaction more than your satisfaction. This can look like you saying, well, what I would have done is, well, that's not how I would have done things. I just think that they could have XYZ. Viewing your mistakes as a character flaw and viewing others' mistakes as a poor reflection of who they are as a person. So you're confusing making a mistake for being a mistake, whether that's in yourself or others. That also involves not putting in the time and energy to reflect and identify lessons that you have learned or are learning so that you can improve. Because if you're looking at your mistake as a character flaw or another person's mistake as a character flaw, it becomes an attack on who you are as a person instead of an opportunity to improve your actions in this scenario or future scenarios. Being very skilled at identifying what is wrong with a person, a place, a group, an event, a situation, a movement, and being much less skilled at identifying, defining, naming, and expressing appreciation for what's right. So when someone says something to you and your immediate reaction is to pick it apart, or you immediately notice something that's wrong in that, whether that be grammar or something else, and you didn't notice the underlying meaning in what they were saying, or how what they're saying might be a good point or an important lesson for you to learn, might be perfectionism. Believing that you know what social justice initiatives will improve society and that others don't know, at least not as much. So if you think that you have every solution to every problem and that if people would just listen to you, surely everything would be better, there's some perfectionism in there. Feeling as though we have to prove ourselves to maintain power or the status quo. So when somebody gives you a critique, if your first initial reaction is to say, I've been deconstructing for however many years, or I marched in Black Lives Matter, or I bought a blue bracelet, you're feeling that you have to prove that you are somehow a perfect or morally superior being to someone else, and that has roots in perfectionism. This tenet is closely associated with the one right way tenet, which we'll be talking about in the next video. One right way assumes that we know what perfection is, or the right way to do something, and that others do not. Some general journal prompts that may be helpful after watching this video. What are the standards or set of rules that I think would improve my value? Do I believe that I need to strive for perfection or excellence? Journal prompts that may be helpful when you are faced with conflict or witnessing conflict in others or on social media, preferably before you respond. What standards or set of rules am I expecting another person to abide by to prove their value? Who is determining what is perfect or what is the perfect performance in this scenario? Am I deciding what is or isn't perfect for myself or someone else in this conversation, topic, scenario, or project? What if I allowed myself and others to be imperfect? What benefits might there be for my relationships, mental health, and society as a whole if I allow myself and others to make mistakes? Some treatments or things you can implement in your life, home, conversations, and interactions to improve. Express appreciation verbally and through actions. So paying others for their work, regardless of what you're getting out of it. Set expectations in your communities, households, and organizations that mistakes are vital and provide learning opportunities. Promote a culture of support where mistakes are seen as expected and evidence of transparency instead of character flaws. Model a spirit of curiosity as the ultimate goal and not perfection. When you're presented with conflict, address the mistake, not the person. Normalize debriefing, which is after the conflict, discussing what everyone has learned and what should be done differently moving forward. This is also a helpful structure to use when apologizing or taking accountability. Don't overly criticize yourself. If you are repeatedly criticizing yourself, the attention becomes centered on you and supporting you instead of on the issue being discussed. We often think and we are taught that we need to strive for perfection or excellence, and that's white supremacy. Having fun, resting, and making mistakes should be celebrated because we can't grow without them. Here's some affirmations that you can listen to me say and hopefully repeat for yourself that may be helpful if you're struggling with deconstructing perfectionism. I can cause harm and still be worthy of love. Others can cause harm and still be worthy of love. I am open to listening to critique and feedback because I am committed to growing. I see your gifts and talent and I am not threatened. I will not run away from my mistakes as I recognize that they are essential to building community. I am curious and curiosity is true power. I am inherently worthy. You are inherently worthy too. Stay curious.